Hello.
What's up?
I think I should change the way I say hello. Hello, like
I just said "was up." I think you
yeah,
did okay.
yeah. I think we both I think we both need to reevaluate how we start these
Oh
episodes.
man.
Oh my god. If
How you
anyone
doing,
has
Mim?
yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay. Winter, autumn is upon us now. The weather is not too cold, but we've definitely got the Great British Rain now in full force. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. All those influencers online who like to think all you need is a trench coat in autumn are lying to you. They think we're mugs because you can't survive this weather in like a t-shirt and a Burberry trench. It's no, guys.
I agree. I actually find that really frustrating when you watch people and it's like, so what are you doing about the rain? You're either lugging around an umbrella that you don't see.
I've given up on umbrellas.
I actually don't believe in umbrellas.
Yeah,
you still get wet. You still get wet.
They turn inside out. Any little bit of like gust.
A good portable umbrella is hard to find. And like if you find one, you'll probably leave it somewhere. Like I'm sort of a put on a hat and grin and bear it kind of a person.
Or a hood on your coat, those big hoods, yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like there's too many influencers who clearly like shed their layers or hand like their tote bag that's got their brolly in and their scarf and their extra layer to their friend taking their picture, because it's the kind of weather you need to pack all sorts for.
It is. Yeah. Luckily it's not too cold yet. So no. that is something. But yeah, I'm hanging in there. What about you?
I'm feeling a bit cheery because I'm off out of here.
Go on, rub it in. Go on then.
I'm going on holiday next week with some family and one of my nephews, and I can't wait. Mainly, could I just say, obviously it'd be lovely to have that quality family time, but oh my god, am I glad to not turn a laptop on for a week and just like not even look at work. Oh my god, am I glad. Oh yeah. It feels like that. It's been a really long time since I've done that. So I'm pretty relieved to just like leave that behind. But yeah. And also hopefully have some sunshine. But I'll believe that when I see it. I mean, it will be nice. But you know, when you're sat in dreary England and you just feel like everywhere in the world must be like this weather.
I'm the opposite. I think I expect a lot. And I don't and I just don't want to be disappointed. So yeah.
So I'm feeling good about that. I'm ready for some sleep and a good rest and all of that good stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So what is your fashion story this week, Mim?
So my fashion story is, obviously we continue to have like runway shows and whatnot. It's the Dior show. I wanted to highlight a little bit. Have you seen it? Probably have. But overall, they've taken a different direction, I think, this collection for next year. And normally, for the past few years, Dior is all about this embroidery and tapestry, evoking kind of an oldie, worldy, almost like medieval princess sort of vibe for a few collections. Or, I mean, she did have that collection of, was it like the safari? Was giving like colonial safari vibes, but still like those embroidered tote bags and yeah, that sort of vibe. Very quite feminine, like feminine and feminist at its forefront. Those were like its kind of main themes. And this show, it is now, I think we've criticized Dior collections before, so this is nothing new. But I don't really get it. I think it's quite Prada-ish. Basically, this collection is very mod, very 60s.
Very like black and white.
I love black and white. I love that monochrome thing. I love the 60s fashion and mod and all of that. But I don't know if Dior is the brand for that. And I think that it just doesn't seem like...
I'd expect that of like Miu Miu.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Miu Miu. It's a Prada. I don't see how I would want to buy any of this stuff from Dior, considering how expensive Dior is. You know, arguably Prada is cheaper, right?
Yeah.
I think also Dior is such a heritage brand, and there's a level of class that people expect with this brand. Now, I'm not someone to say like I don't believe that brands should like deviate from, you know, a certain style or whatever, but I just don't think this fits in with like the brand itself. And like the boots are not nice, like these Austin Power type go girl boots.
Yeah, especially when they've just sort of done like the very lady hiker boot type thing for a while, like monopolizing on that trend like everyone has, but it suited them a bit better. They did it their way. It could be worn with the pretty dresses, the pretty embroidered dresses, all of that thing. And I think it's really difficult now in fashion because like you said, you expect something of a brand, you know, like, and of course like Carl used to really like rejig each sort of season with a theme, but essentially there was still some tweed, there was still the boucle, there was still like Chanel in the essence. So like there might be the odd things like when he would go like with a really themed accessory or a few looks that were like super like ski vibe, but the rest of the collection was kind of like classic Chanel. I think that they maybe just deviated with too much of their show. Like I think you can have a few like really like Austin Powers looks and it'd be a bit fun and a bit playful, but like I think you've also got to stick to like what you know, which is boring I guess. But
I think like with Dior, like they have their Lady Dior bag and it's very cute. It's like, so I get this kind of 60s theme does in keep with that in the sense that there's a lot of like mini dresses, mini skirts, and that's quite cute and that kind of goes with that aesthetic. But then they've thrown in things like boxer shorts, silk boxer shorts, and like those like little triangle silk bralettes to go with the boxer shorts. It just doesn't make sense, and I don't know,
forward for them.
It is I partly blame all those people who went out and bought those Christian Dior like bandeau tops, you know, those like really popular ones with the Christian Dior written down like the straps and whatnot, because they just seem to think like they could just keep making these bralettes and someone's buying them. And so this is the boxing segment, silky boxing like jackets and shorts that Dior have come out with this season. I wouldn't spend your money on this sort of thing at all. So it's a bit of a weird
it's quite new money fashion as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very trend based, whereas a lot of Dior stuff is often like you could wear that like season in, season out, whereas this is quite like very trend focused. For our Real Housewife fans, like we know we're going to see Dorit wearing one of these looks at some point. She loves a head to toe like themed look that like, but she's very much like new money fashion. Will wear like head to toe Fendi one day, like head to toe like Dior the next, and all of that. It's like
I think you're right. You know, I can definitely see a lot of like young Hollywood buying into these. But that was my fashion story. Dior. I don't know what to make of it, but what is your fashion story?
Okay, so I had one, but I think I might save it for the main segment.
Okay.
And I'll have my other one, which is, guys, of course we need an update on Kylie Swim.
Oh, please. In time for your holiday. Will you be buying?
I did not buy a Kylie Swim because I didn't believe that it would suit my body.
No, I think you'd look amazing in Kylie Swim, quite frankly. I think out of all the people I know, I think you kill it in bikinis, quite frankly. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not the swimsuit for a family holiday with my brother and my nephew. I very much think like it's a swimsuit you probably couldn't wear in a pool and it stay where it is. I'd like to hope so. I would
because isn't like, you know, all the Kylie Jenners of the world with their big McMansions and their swimming pools.
Pool. Yeah.
Do you live in LA and not use your pool?
Well,
Maybe.
so you know what, guys? If enough of you want, I'll buy a swimsuit.
Please do.
I'm hopefully going away in December and maybe we can do a little like live reporting back of some Kylie Swim.
Yeah. Please.
Love that. But so basically I came across like I think the launch we spoke about before did really well. And now people have been receiving it and the pictures of people in it look great. And like I think then I saw like a BuzzFeed article that was very much like implying that it's all kind of like the people who have a BBL or like have had some sort of like cosmetic thing, like whether they've got fake boobs, all of that stuff, like, you know, that's the body that it suits. And actually, I've seen other people wearing it. I've seen like bigger girls wearing it. I've seen slim girls who've not got like many curves. I think what really is important often with swimwear, and this is going to sound really corny, it's just confidence. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody is a bikini or swimsuit body. It's confidence and like, if you accessorize it right or whatever, like if you want that.
I think there are certain cuts and shapes and whatnot that suit different body types. But in terms of wearing a bikini or something that's sexy, you're right. It's just a level of confidence. Yeah. And a great wax.
Yeah. But so basically this girl was basically ripping to shreds Kylie Swim. She bought it. She thought the quality wasn't great. So Kylie Swim's about like $80, I think. Yeah. I'm guessing that's about 65 quid. I don't know. It's like not cheap for a swimsuit.
But like, not the most expensive.
Not premium. Yeah. But so like she sort of held up the bottoms and you could see like the logo through the bottoms. But I thought, well, if you hold something to light, you might.
The logo?
So like inside the Kylie Swim logo that's like imprinted inside, if you held it up to light, you could almost like see through.
No, but these aren't knickers. These are bikini bottoms and they need to be like lined.
Well, my thing is, I don't care if you can see it in the light. I care if I get in the pool and you can see my bum crack like through it, type of a thing, or like it goes sheer. That's more of a test to me, and I'd like to think she's tested that out. Like, not everyone's thing is like for you to literally see everything you try and keep concealed on show. Yeah. But yeah, she was just ripping it to shreds. But I think the problem is, people like to hate on the Kardashians, you know, like people like to make out like to poke a flaw in it, and I think it will just speak volumes of if we see it. I think we said this last week or the week before, it will speak volumes if we see people wearing it like next summer and like the momentum keep up, because you can't fool people for forever. You might get away with it for one launch, but if people come back and they want more, then you've done something right.
Yeah, I think you're right that people do, if not for like wanting to drag the Kardashians down, I do think in general we scrutinize wealthy people and celebrities when they come out with launches more. But I don't think that's always the case, because when we think about Skims online, I don't Google Skims stuff, but when I've seen people wear Skims, I've only heard good things about Skims, and people genuinely buy her stuff, because I've seen like collection after collection. She comes out with the fluffy collection and she comes out with
how many collections does that woman come out with?
And people actually wear it. And the same with Savage Fenty. People genuinely buy that stuff. I mean, I don't own any of that stuff, but as you said, there's a level of longevity in it. So they're doing something right and people are liking it. I think that we just got to wait till next year and see, as you said.
I'll do my undercover research, guys, come December. But on the topic of Kylie just being like Little Miss Mogul, Kylie Baby's only just been released 2 weeks after Kylie Swim.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, Kylie Baby is basically like a sort of skincare or like
bath time.
Bath time sort of collection for children. So it's like super safe, like all of the things
just
free,
be gentle and whatnot.
It shouldn't, if it went in their eyes, like it shouldn't be bad, and like just has nothing toxic in it, that you then would feel really good knowing like that you are like making a bubble bath for your kid and it's like as good as it can be for them and their skin and stuff like that. Which I think, you know what, going into children's skin, I mean, when she launched Kylie Skin,
people didn't like it. So I don't know what she thought about this. Maybe she thought that babies were like less tougher critics.
Well, no, I think so the way she sells it is that she wanted to create something because she wanted like to know what she was like putting on her daughter. They all
say that.
Oh, of course. But like that's sort of often like what ideas come from. But like she must have wanted to do it because, man, the skincare industry is tough.
Yeah.
Let alone like the childcare, like, or children sort of sector. You've got to have every test under the sun. Your product can't be terrible.
Well, you say that. Like in America, the cosmetics industry and the standards are different to the ones over here. So the thing is, the Kylie Skin thing, when I saw it released, I didn't see a lot of good.
I'm gonna say I would
reviews.
never buy into that.
Yeah,
just because, like we've said before, for sure she uses other products. Or for sure she goes to a skincare doctor and gets like a facial that is not Kylie Skin.
So I can't speak to how successful that launch was for her monetarily, but I do think that people weren't really like into buying it and continuing to buy it, except that maybe the really young audiences. So when I see her release something like this, I think that maybe they are in it, a lot of celebrities, but particularly the Kardashians. They launch so many products. They're into making money on the initial launch of things. It's not about the longevity of the brand. And when we talk about their fashion launches in general, I think the reason why people are going to be overly critical of when they come out with new collections for things is because they're always jumping to the next venture. And to some extent, I think that we like to see people who are invested in making and progressing the best product they can make. So they might specialize, like Good American, let's say, jeans primarily. And that was their focus. And that's what they were trying to improve. And it wasn't just Khloe Kardashian. I think that probably helped that she was in business with someone else. But like when you see focus from someone to make something in particular and improve on that and that alone, I think that's how you garner respect a bit more. And people are more likely to believe that you are making a concerted effort to make this a great product. When you see these guys jump from venture to venture, it's almost like, how much have you really thought about it?
Feels like a game. I think because it's so unrelatable. Like if I started a business venture tomorrow, like you don't have to have a huge financial backing. You can start stuff really small. But I think because it just seems like, I'll just add this.
They could throw money at it.
Yeah, because they can. And because it's guaranteed to like almost you'll get your money back from the launch regardless, like type of a thing. So
exactly.
Kardashians, man.
Yeah, I've got a final little point. It's going to make me sound so snobby, but I just... No. So last night I was watching this YouTuber, and I'd never seen her stuff before, but her content seems quite good, like a good, easy watch. And she talks about handbags in particular, and she was comparing like one particular Neverfull that she had that was real to the exact same version, but it was a fake. And granted, it was quite a good fake, yeah. But she kind of went through 7 points where you could, like, this is how you can detect a fake from the real thing. Now, in this particular Neverfull, in the inside pocket, it reads Louis Vuitton Champs-Élysées and like the address. And it's like in a particular font and design and whatnot. And she was comparing the two. And she pronounced it as champs. Now, this is my question to you. I don't want to sound like a dick, yeah? Because this woman has far more money than me. She's obviously very knowledgeable about handbags.
Was she American?
No. This was
I expect that from an American. I love you, Americans listening, but you don't pronounce your French very well.
Most of our listeners are American as well, so you're going to get it, Scarlett. But this is the thing. She obviously knows a lot more about handbags because she owns a lot more of them than I do. But here in the UK, how many of us?
Chanel?
No, well, that's the thing. Here in the UK, we are so close to France. Everyone's been to Paris. Everyone learns French at school. Everyone's been on like the Eurostar. Like, it's just, you know, it's kind of like you don't have to be fancy to know that it is not Champs-Élysées. Or whatever it is definitely
especially because that's like a famous shopping street.
It's the most famous avenue in Paris, isn't it? Like the most famous fashion district arguably in the world. And I just thought, wow, like crickets.
Love that.
She said some other stuff, but the one that took me out was champs. So that's really, that might be the poll for this week. Like, how do you feel about people who seemingly like know a lot about high-end luxury fashion and say things like, I don't know, like really bad pronunciation of like, Channel instead of Chanel or other things. Or
like if someone was like Dolce and Gabbana. You know, I mean, it's difficult because we could take it back to like the Nike, like, I don't know what it is, but I prefer saying Nike. I prefer saying Adidas. But you probably say both the opposite, right?
No, I say Nike, but I say Adidas.
What's the other way? Adidas?
Adidas.
I can't say that. And I don't really feel like I can pull off saying Moschino, so I say Moschino.
Oh, I do say Moschino only because a previous job I had, they told us to like pronounce it correctly. So it's been beaten out of me. But
it's like certain things like that. But I am a big believer. I mean, like not any word that's derived from French, because actually it does press my buttons when people be like restaurant. I don't think we need to do that. If you're going to like an Italian restaurant, I don't think you need to like say that. Or ambiance. Even though it's quite hard to say ambience, you probably should say ambiance.
Ambiance.
Yeah. But I do think you've got to attempt. It's like anything. I think, like, you know, you don't try and say bonjour. You try and say bonjour. Like it's kind of like anything where I think it's more. I think it's polite to try and say it. But
the thing is, I don't think it was a lack of effort. It was just not knowing, thinking that maybe. That was it. Oh, yeah. I want to know, what words do you guys hate hearing pronounced incorrectly?
Oh.
Yeah. And for the Americans out there, literally, like, Paris is like, what, a 2-hour train ride from where we are?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, I did French since I was like 5. So like, it's kind of second nature just to sort of say things in a certain way. But,
yeah.
I mean, I say that I'm not fluent, so don't come at me either.
Yeah.
We interrupt this broadcast to remind you, go follow us on Instagram, StyleOverSubstancePod. Shoot us an email, styleoversubstancepeak@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube, find us on Twitter. We've got all the links on our Instagram. You know what to do.
Anyway, this week we thought, how can we not talk about the thing that's sort of the biggest thing to happen in the last week?
Mm-hmm.
The Bond film has finally been released after like a year, I guess, postponement. So yeah, we're going to talk all things Bond. Yeah. Did you see any of the pictures from the premiere, Mim?
I did see some. To be honest, I'm not on Daily Mail as much as you, so I didn't go through all the people who attended the premiere and look at their looks and stuff like that. I did see, of course, Daniel Craig, and then the Duke and Duchess, the Prince and Princess. Well, no, the Prince, and the Duchess, and their look. And that was pretty much it from a premiere standpoint. So let's just go into first Daniel Craig. What did you think of his look?
So my first feedback was I actually thought he was wearing quite a lot of makeup on his face. That was the main thing that stood out to me.
Really? Oh.
It might more have been just studio lights, because actually obviously like they flatten you out. So it might have been that. And it's sort of like, but to me it almost looked like makeup was sitting in his wrinkles.
Oh.
I thought it was a bold colour choice. I kind of liked that risky colour choice. I don't know if it's the most flattering on his skin tone.
I loved it.
But I think it was bold, unexpected, and like good for him. And like, little known fact, and to my future husband out there, I love a velvet blazer. I love a velvet jacket. If like, I'm telling you now, if my husband does not wear a navy blue denim jacket, velvet jacket to my wedding, I am going to be disappointed. Okay. Yeah, I loved this raspberry coloured velvet double-breasted dinner jacket on him. I thought it was great. Like, he was the man of the night. Essentially, when you get to be James Bond and play make-believe for the past 15 years, and this is your last film, then yeah, you are the man of the night. And if you turn up in an all black tux, don't get me wrong, I love an all black tux, but he's just going to blend in because every other guy who's going to turn up to this premiere is going to be wearing that. So for him to wear this color, I thought it looked amazing. From the footage that I saw of him talking, I didn't notice the makeup thing. But I didn't think the color washed him out. What I thought, actually, which is quite contrary to what you said, is I saw him and I thought he's gotten better looking. I think with all the wrinkles, no, honestly, his wrinkles are there. He's aged, and it's actually nice to see that he hasn't, as far as I could tell, didn't have like filler and Botox and things like that. He's too like rugged. Isn't
he looked like a rugged aging man, and that's what I liked about it. I think that's the core to Daniel Craig's version of James Bond. He's not the most,
he's rough and ready.
Yeah, he's not the most ladies man as much as like previous James Bond iterations. I thought he looked great, and I thought it was a great choice. What about the Duchess?
I thought she looked fab. I just really shout out to our friend Izzy, who doesn't listen to this. She hates the word fab. I thought she looked amazing. Like, I just like, a few people messaged me like, oh my gosh, do you think she looked great? And she just did. I think it was like, obviously it was Jenny Packham. Like, that's her favourite.
Yeah.
But I just kind of liked the cape thing. I thought that was quite modern, the way she had her hair, her makeup, whatever jewelry. Like, I think just generally, if I turned up to a premiere and looked that good, I'd be bloody happy. Like, she looked sensational, and I thought good for her.
I did really like the dress. I think on her, on such a small frame, I don't think this shoulder cape thing best suited her. Yeah. But it was nice to see her in something that was flashy, that, you know, that shone the spotlight on her. It was a bit sexier as well. She's such a small frame. I think that is like where it can be tricky to kind of style. I don't know. I would like to see I think I would have liked to have seen, not with this dress because there was so much going on, but if her hair was down, it would have got caught in all the sequins. I think I did think she looked good, and she came to like, it's weird because I think because James Bond is such an iconic British figure, when the royal family are invited, because of course, you know, they treat it as it's sort of like a very patriotic event.
Yeah. They almost like, it's almost like what do they call it when it's like a royal person's like, it's like one of their jobs.
Patronage.
Like it's one of their duties, like one of their duties, like it's like almost like it's one of their like their days. It's like one of their, I can't think, there's like a name probably for like when
they have to come and like represent almost,
and they like do that thing where like they talk to everyone. It's like, it's not the Royal Variety Show,
it's
like
not.
It's but somehow like it's got that like royal association. I'm like, I'm not mad about it because it's like a British thing and all of that.
I think they do use
they adopt it.
They use the likability of James Bond as a way to further their like likability as a royal family. If like, you know, when you're by association, I think the royal family like that they get associated with James Bond. It almost makes them a bit more modern, a bit more suave, a bit more, you know. And then of course, like he works for the, you know, Her Majesty's Secret Service, so it is intrinsically tied to the royal family in that sense. For all those who live abroad, like all our government agencies and stuff is all like Her Majesty's blah blah. So yeah, I do think they enjoy the spotlight when they attend the James Bond events, and so she wanted to be like the golden girl, you know, which she gets to enjoy at these events. So yeah.
And also I thought, like, you know what, gold's a bold choice. Gold's associated with Bond because obviously Goldfinger, all of that kind of a thing. And yeah, she kind of had a little Bond girl moment. I just thought like there's been so much crap going on with the royal family. And I know they're sort of the sort of leaders in brushing things under the carpet. And Prince Andrew, you can't hide for any longer. Like, I will come to your house and personally turn you in. But like, just even with like the cattiness of like Harry and Meghan, like they're the people who have to face that and take that on. And I know they've got nice lives, but like they kind of are now like the kind of people being held accountable for all the shit.
You know me.
Like maybe not accountable is not the right word, but they're the ones who still have to go day to day and do their jobs, knowing the headlines that are going to ensue. And like, you know, I just think that they've got a nice life, but I just thought it was probably really nice for them just to have like a positive, positive little like day out. Yeah,
I get what you mean. So I didn't see anyone else's looks. Who else was a highlight of the evening?
I can't think of her name. The French girl who's in the Bond film, she sort of had quite a Grecian dress, and she looked really nice. And then another girl sort of had this like black strappy number that was great. I find it a bit weird that like the Z lists get invited to, like, I really feel like it used to be, don't you think, when we were younger, that a red carpet event was like only a few people got invited to those? But I feel like, you know, I don't know if it's now we know more celebrities and we know who are the dregs, but I just felt like loads of people got invited.
As I said, I don't know who was in attendance.
Billie Eilish looked cool. She was wearing Gucci. Yeah, she looked cool. I like her like shorter blonde. I think I prefer it than when it was a bit longer. I think it's more her. I think it's less like glam and more cool.
I don't want to be. I don't like the idea of being like elitist at these things, because at the end of the day, it's just a film. It's just a premiere for a film.
Oh, of course.
But I know that even if I were as Z-lister and I was in attendance for this premiere, I want to make sure I still meet Daniel Craig. Don't just invite me and then we don't get to mingle properly, because I do. I want to mingle. with all of those guys. I want to meet
Hello,
his
Mr.
wife,
Band.
Rachel Weisz. I want to meet her as well.
I don't think I saw pictures of her there. He was there with his daughter.
Oh.
But I don't remember seeing Miss Weisz. But you know what? If I were also her, I wouldn't walk the red carpet. I'd kind of let him maybe have his moment. They're that kind of a couple where they're
quite low key, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, on to the idea of just James Bond fashion in general. I think it's so interesting, the cultural relevance of James Bond. I think we've probably talked about this in previous episodes, but not only is he so deeply linked to this created, let's be honest, completely created idea of a British man, but also this idea of like how to be a suave man, like an archetypal, wealthy, successful ladies man, and his fashion sense is almost like the example of how to be like suave. And I think that trickles down to like ordinary men.
Yeah, and I think you've got to remember, like, how many fashion icons do women have versus men? And like, if a man puts on a tuxedo, the person they reference is James Bond, and that's huge. You know, like, there aren't many things. Like, I guess like we have Marilyn Monroe with like a white dress and it might blow up, but like, it's just generically a tuxedo and you all like are Bond. There's
a real cult following when it comes to James Bond. There are so many websites that will, you know, pick out looks from the different films, and also the actors themselves who embody James Bond, and will list where all the items have come from and the designers and the models. And there genuinely is, I think, a whole segment of the fashion industry that caters to men who want to achieve the same look. And, you know, like, for example, in preparation for this episode and looking at what James Bond is wearing in this latest film, No Time to Die, I came across a website and they picked out looks from the film. And like, there's one brand called NPL, and they kind of have a whole 007 collection because a lot of their pieces that they have feature in this film.
Wow.
And so in one of the posters to promote this film, Daniel's wearing this kind of navy blue thick knitted jumper, and it's quite reminiscent of what like men and women in like the RAF actually wear, that sort of navy blue jumper. And so you can buy it from NPL and it costs you £345 for this jumper. And like the matching trousers is like another like 250. And so there are a number of brands that off the back of this single film are going to be selling out a lot of pieces to a lot of guys who, you know, are like seeking to replicate this look. And I think that that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I can see lots of like male fashion bloggers or something like that almost being like, you know, you could imagine there being sort of paid partnerships with NPL where they accessorize that jumper or that kind of thing, because Bond's got a real timeless look. Like you said, there's a lot of homage to military-esque stuff because obviously he can fly planes, he can like do it all type of thing. He's almost a bit like a Marine SEAL.
I think to be like in the Secret Service, I think you do have to come through the Navy or the Army or something.
And like, but so I think as well, I think for Daniel Craig, I mean, Sir Tom Ford, I feel like that's what he should be called anyway. Tom Ford, I think, has been doing the tuxedos since Daniel Craig started. And I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that pink jacket probably was Tom Ford.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And there is, in my opinion, no greater man to like kit out someone. His suits and his tailoring is just the most exquisite.
Yeah.
Like if I was a man, that's what I'd be aspiring to buy one day, is a Tom Ford suit.
But do you think that is because, okay, so Daniel Craig's been James Bond for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
And I keep getting confused between Tom Jones and Tom Ford right now.
I know, that's why
it's really.
I was like, oh, is he Sir Tom Ford? And I was like, no, it's Sir Tom Jones. But I was like, Tom Ford should be a sir, even though he's not British.
Yeah. So Tom Ford, because he's been outfitting James Bond for that amount of time, like that is us throughout our adult lives and into being teenagers as well. I think that's how this brand has become like the brand for men to wear on the red carpet. So I think they both do each other favors.
Oh,
you know,
sure.
That's why Tom Jones, Tom Ford is an aspirational brand for men now and for the past however many years, because James Bond is aspirational.
Yeah. And absolutely. And also, like, I think it's kind of funny that, like, the tuxedo, there aren't many occasions where, like, men would have to wear that. Maybe some weddings, if they're really, like, fancy weddings, maybe their own wedding, but again, not many people wear a full tux.
Yeah.
There aren't many occasions where that has to happen. So I think it's a bit like how, you know, we have that aspirational, like, or we would wear like that sort of Sex in the City, like we would wear high heels every day and like we'd live that life. There's this fantasy of like, because that's your best, you're meant to look your best, right, when you're dressed up to the nines. And I think it's this real fantasy, and obviously like everything that Bond's meant to stand for, that he's like a smooth criminal, literally, type of a thing. Like I think it's like just every guy's fantasy to sort of be that like cool, suave, hit with the ladies, like intelligent, but also can like win a fight.
I think also
like that's the sort of the masculine society we've been like raised in, of like that's the perfect man.
Yeah, I think also at a time in 2021, James Bond becomes a more contrasting figure against a lot of the other guys that we see in the media. So he's always smart. We all know that each and every one of us live more and more casual lives. He's always kind of smart, but when he's like in the field doing his job, he's still wearing clothes that's like hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth, you know? He's still wearing that Omega watch. And that contrasts the way that many of us today live our lives. We no longer wear suits to work every day. We all have like Apple watches. Not many people wear everyday analog watches, let alone watches which are worth like $6,000 upwards. He is a man who, at least Daniel Craig's version, he has a lot of fine lines, a lot of wrinkles, rough looking, as opposed to an overly more polished, or maybe a man who maybe gets facials and things like that. He's almost like the antithesis of what we see maybe a lot of men's fashion today is. And I think maybe that adds to that old school, oldie world appeal of James Bond. You know, when something's so different to what you're used to, it becomes intriguing. It becomes, indulgent almost.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's sort of such a unique thing, right? It's a unique franchise, and like they monopolize on it like hugely. I think, like, you know, we talked about Love Island being, you know, some big monopoly. Like Bond, the adverts for that film are going to be really long. They're all Bond specific. Like, you know, there's a certain beer, there's so much product placement now, like, and like you said, if there's a clothing line that's got a Bond range, like this is such a constitution now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk about maybe Bond girls, Bond women, and their like evolution of style a bit more as well. Because you mentioned before how the women we see in Bond films now are different to like the women we saw of like the films in the 60s and the 70s and even like the 90s as well, like Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Bond girls have themselves, like in fashion and their role in the films has changed.
Absolutely. I think, I think it's evolved a little bit with obviously just the way we look at women now. And I think our attitudes to women are having to obviously change. And I think I'm sure people, diehard Bond fans probably aren't listening to this, but I don't think I remember there being like a swimsuit moment in the last two films. There might have been in Casino Royale, which was Daniel Craig's first one, but I don't think there was in like Spectre and whatever the one before that was. I don't think there was.
I don't remember seeing it either. And yeah, we can be corrected out, those of you out there.
And actually, the scene that I then remember of being a swimsuit scene is Daniel Craig, not of a woman, when he's in those Speedos. And I wonder if that was like some real revolution. Like, don't get me wrong, he still like is with women, not in the same way either. Like, I mean, Pierce Brosnan used to have a sleuth of women in a film. My God, there'd just be like a new woman, like in, out, all of that stuff. And like any villain, gross. I'm sorry, everyone. But Daniel Craig, it's more like he has like longer, like more, like with more dimension, like sort of romantic relations, let's say.
Back to the swimsuit point with Daniel Craig, I think the reason why it was made into such a big deal is because finally we were objectifying James Bond's body. We were like, oh my God, like he's in Speedos, look at his abs. I don't know if he even has abs, but he was toned.
He looked great.
Yeah. And it wasn't women coming out of the water and whipping their hair. So yeah, that is a good point. I think, we don't see as much as that. And I think they have tried to like develop James Bond's background and personal relationships more in general. But I think an offshoot of that is he has we get to see more of a relationship that he has with the women around him, like M, for example. We see more of their relationship, and we see more women, like particularly M, like a woman in power who is his superior, and she's in like professional, suave, expensive clothing as well. She's professional, but she can kind of be sexy, but not all the time. It's like a glimpse of sexiness.
And supposedly, I haven't seen the new film yet. I'm hoping to see it in like a week's time. There's the first 00 agent that's a woman ever to feature in a Bond film.
Oh, yes.
And that's huge. Like, I think, and like, I don't know who drives that forward. I don't know if that's the production company. I don't know if that's like a Daniel Craig request. I don't know what it is. But like, and also, can I just add, I don't mind if there's female swimsuit scenes, like as long as that's kind of not the only thing they're in the film for, like don't like Halle Berry, that scene is great. I love that. It was an homage to an earlier Bond film with her swimsuit and like the knife sort of round her waist. I loved that, but I think as long as that's not the only reason she's in a film is to look good in a bikini and to objectify her. But I think that's the same with men. Like Bond's got more dimension to him than looking good coming out of the sea. It's that kind of a thing. But it's a cool evolution.
Yeah. From a fashion perspective, do you think that you look to Bond girls? Do you watch these films and think, oh yeah, that's a gorgeous evening dress.
No.
Like, I really need to get my hands on some Chopard jewelry.
I can admire them, and obviously they're always beautiful. I think it's more, I admire the beauty, but that might be because of like the thing that we get told is that they're such beautiful people.
Yeah.
So I don't really like, and also they're always at these like galas or ridiculous events. And I'm never going to go to those events.
Yeah, we don't have the money and we don't live in those social circles, you know. Our boyfriend isn't this like rich billionaire.
Yeah.
You know, he's using us to...
With a license to kill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't really look at it as a fashion thing, which is interesting because it absolutely could be. There's so many amazing moments.
But it is for men. And I think you're right in saying that men have less... fashion icons of that level, but then
would you like admire the fashion in it?
No.
Yeah,
I think I look at the women's fashion in this film as a way to see how they have tried to present women in the film.
Yeah,
like, oh, okay, I see you put her in something.
She is then.
Yeah, like, oh, like for example, they have like more female Black characters in the film in recent years, and it's almost like I think I watch it in a way of like, okay, how is this like Black female character presented in this film? And her and the choice of clothing that they put this actress in, how do I feel about it? Do I think it suits her? Is she potentially regarded as a love interest for Bond just as much as all the other women are supposed to be potential love interests for Bond? I don't know. I view it in that way. I don't walk away and think, oh, I really like those trousers she's wearing.
Yeah.
I want to get something similar.
But I guess, like you said, we're probably not meant to. It is like, it's a film for guys and all of that stuff. And actually, on the topic of that, Daniel Craig got asked if he thought like Bond or the new Bond should be a woman. And his retort, I'm sure it was a sort of PR response, was that like there should be a role equally as exciting for a woman to play as it is for a man to play James Bond. And actually I totally agree with that, because you know what, it's not a woman's film. And of course that could be kind of different, but actually in a book it's written as a male, and he's right, there should be an equally exciting opportunity for a woman to play.
I agree with you. I'm not of the school of like we've got to have like a female play the same role for everything. I don't think that's how things like need to work. It's like, you know, when they try to like let's take a story and then we'll just insert a woman in the character and so that we can seem progressive. I just don't think that works. Like, roles should be written with a woman in mind. And like, I love the direction that he works with women and they have, as you said, exciting characters that move the story forward. Or we just not consider James Bond at all and we create something completely different.
Jane Bond.
That's written from a completely different standpoint with a completely different purpose, but for a woman. I just don't understand this, like just interchanging people and trying to make them seem like, oh, we're cool, we're down with the kids because we put like a woman in as James Bond. I agree, but I got a question for you.
Okay.
In the same way that men view James Bond, not all of them, but I think it's hard to pretend that men don't idolize a James Bond look. Do you think women today have that? And if so, who is on that same level when it comes to fashion and styling?
What a woman, like equal, like a character?
Yes, a character in a film or a series that's had just as much impact in recent years for women, or it can be an actor or a celebrity who represents that level of iconic style?
So for me, I don't know if this is showing my age. But I don't really aspire to anyone who's probably like right now relevant. I couldn't care less about Addison Rae or whatever she's called.
Yeah.
Like I watch the Kardashians, but they're not my style icons by any means. I think the last time I feel like that happened was maybe like the Friends like sort of era. You know, when people wanted to be a Rachel, especially in like film and TV. I think obviously there's Sex in the City, but that's kind of a bit unattainable. And I know that Bond is, but I also probably wasn't the right age to like lust after, like they're a bit older, the Sex and the City ladies. And maybe a Gossip Girl thing, but again, I didn't really lust after their fashion like that much because I was probably not able to have that fashion. I don't know, it's difficult. I'd almost say like old Hollywood. Like I still think that like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe are still sort of like those sorts of icons. I mean, even like the Tiffany's advert is paying homage to Audrey Hepburn. But I don't know if we have just one person like that, or like this sort of cult person. I can't really think of anything. How about you?
I agree. I think for me, I love the glamour of Marilyn Monroe. But then it's very much on the same vein as like James Bond, old Hollywood type glamour. I think, you know what it is? I like people who have a very defined and sense of style.
Sense of style.
Like they can wear different things, but there's always like this coherency across like what they wear. I don't know if this is, it's gonna sound strange, but I'm sure we always
sound strange.
I've always felt like Kris Jenner has a very strong sense of personal style.
Do you not think she's trying to be Karl Lagerfeld sometimes?
No, because I've seen like when they've shown like older pictures of her when she was a lot younger, she's always had that short hair. She's always worn a lot of black and white. And I find that really intriguing. It doesn't matter what brand she wears or like how old she is. She always dresses like, now I'm going to use the word age appropriate but bear with me. Like,
she's not trying to get her midriff
she's not trying to like keep up with the youngins. That's what I mean. Like she dresses in a style that she's clearly comfortable with. She's always in like a blazer or something. She's always in black. And I don't know, I just appreciate that essence of like she wears what, you know, she like I feel like she does actually work in what she wears. You know how people like put outfits together because they're just gonna like prance around the city to look cute. Like I don't get that vibe from Kris Jenner, and I don't know. I think that she is she's a bit of a like, I can see how she's a style icon for those 50 and over. You know, there are a lot of like louder, older women who have like louder dress senses, and I think that they like there's a few who I think are like style icons, but people for our age, 30 and younger, I think now all the celebrities just like jump on whatever trend is hot. And so it's very hard to, especially for women, there's so many women out there who wear like expensive, amazing clothes that there's not one person out there who's iconic. There's just too many celebrities to be iconic.
There's too much saturation and actually like there aren't that many sort of like other than like superhero films, I can't think of many things that sort of just have like a solo female lead that's like, oh my god. And obviously we don't walk around in superhero outfits all the time.
I think Samantha from Sex and the City,
I love her, she's great, but I think it's more of how shocking she is than her style.
No, but all her style was quite like sleek but bold.
Yeah, true. And like there's a sexy element.
Yeah.
She's not so age appropriate, but
she had like a look that I would say was quite a cool one. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
R.I.P. to
One
Samantha.
to see. Oh. And the guy, what's his name? The gay best friend Stanford died, the actual actor.
Oh, yes.
That's really sad. Mid-filming. Jeez.
Oh, God. Yeah. So,
we digress.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so do you have like a best dressed or like favorite era of Bond? So bearing in mind, guys, we're not that old.
Not old.
So like we've mainly been around Pierce and Daniel Craig.
Yeah. I was saying to Mr. Big that I feel like we need to sit down and try and get through every. Yeah, it would take such a long time, but
every Sunday maybe just put on a Bond film.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to get to that stage where I'm that person who can like, oh, this was the best Bond era, you know?
Yeah.
Like, be a real snob about it. But GQ does have a list of who are to be considered like some of the best or iconically dressed Bonds. So I'll run down the list of some of them and you can kind of let me know if you've seen the films or if you agree.
I haven't seen the films, but I've seen stills.
Yeah, you would have seen images. Okay. So we've got Sean Connery.
Oh, it's got to be, yeah.
A three-piece suit. A grey three-piece suit.
Yeah. I know the exact picture as well that you're like.
Yeah.
I've seen that still. You know what? There's something about his face as well. Maybe he's just a really attractive man.
And his voice as well, isn't it?
He looks very good in a suit. Like it really suits him. And I don't know what it is. It's because he's got like a really... I hate saying manly because I don't believe in that. But he's got this sort of like toughness.
He's a big guy.
He's like, yeah, he's a big guy. He's not kind of got dainty features. He's got thick eyebrows and he can really pull off like a bold suit and like big collars. And like, I just think it really suits him. Because like, of course, someone like Pierce Brosnan's going to look smart in a suit. Like he's clearly like a, you know, like, I don't know. It's just a bit of a different look. I love a Sean Connery.
I agree. I think that you're right. Sean Connery is like over 6 foot and he's got broad shoulders and that's like
a stature.
Yeah, he's got I was going to say something else and it was no.
No.
So yeah, you could pull off a strong suit, 3-piece, shoulder pads, all of that stuff. And I think that adds to pulling off that look. So yeah, Sean Connery is one. Then we've got a lesser known Bond, George Lazenby. Now, if you don't know who he is, in a lot of the stills, he's wearing this like not a pussy bow collar, but like very Austin Powers-esque suit going on, like with the the lacy thing round the neck. Personally, maybe that was sexy back in the day, but I'm
bringing sex back.
Yeah.
I had to, sorry.
But it's just not. It doesn't translate in modern day. Yeah.
Oh, never heard of him.
Yeah, there you go. There is another image of him where he's wearing like more of a casual Bond style, and it could definitely translate to 2021. It's like,
is it a roll neck?
It is a high neck.
I feel like that is like essential,
and it's like a smart bomber. Off
duty Bond is a polo neck.
Yeah, a cashmere polo, isn't it? The colours were like a nice orange and
very 70s vibe,
and a camel, and a camel tone. Yeah. Very autumnal. We have Sir Roger Moore.
Yeah, so that's the vibe I see Sir Roger Moore doing, is that sort of like 70s, maybe like slightly flared trouser.
Yeah. A big collar and a flared trouser. Also, do you think Daniel's going to get knighted?
I'm surprised he hasn't already, you know, because he had that little moment with the Queen for the...
Does he have like an OBE or something? I need to Google.
I don't know. He had that skit, didn't he, with the Queen for the London 2020 Olympics?
Yeah. She wasn't about to knight him in the middle of like Stratford Olympic.
No, but I'm surprised. You know what? Because there will be some like homage to the arts or something like that. Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, I think it's on the cards for him.
Pierce hasn't. But he also sang terribly in Mamma Mia, so what can you do?
Maybe that's why single-handedly ruined his chances. Then we've got Timothy Dalton, and the images I've seen of Timothy is like the suit he's wearing, and I think it was just reminiscent of the time, but it's very much like those wedding suits. You know, the ones that you only ever wear to a wedding, and you're like, who wears that? You don't wear it as an attendee, but like the guy getting married and his groomsmen are in those very specific suits. You know what I mean?
A bit when Dumber and Dumber, like Dumb and Dumber, is it that kind of vibe? Those like really jazzy wedding suits.
Yeah, it's just not a suit that you go to any sort of actual other event in. Yeah. You got Pierce Brosnan on this list.
I'm going to be honest, he was like my childhood Bond, or our childhood Bond. But in hindsight, a very vanilla Bond.
To me, I don't think Pierce Brosnan is sexy.
The thing is, I think he's probably the most accurate almost to the books. Not that I've read them, but from what I understand, like he's sort of just like, so he's similar to, I think, maybe the kind of Bond Roger Moore was, of just like wear a suit, shoot a gun, don't really do any action scenes, and like, you know, that kind of a thing of like, I don't need to do anything. And but he's not an attractive guy.
He's not. No, he's not.
Especially like when you compare like Sean Connery, one of the most attractive men, even like as an older dude, like you could tell he's just been a really attractive man. And Daniel Craig is not my type, but you can appreciate that he's an attractive guy.
Yeah, Daniel's not my type, but I get it. You know, yeah. And then of course Daniel Craig. There you go.
Yeah, and actually Daniel Craig, it's funny because it's different statures as well, isn't it? So like Pierce Brosnan, super slim. Daniel Craig is like the butchest of them all. Like
Daniel Craig is a builder. Let's be honest. Doesn't he remind you of any builder that like
yeah, you'd expect him to come around and fix your plumbing or like
okay.
Oh, is that a weird like thing?
That's an innuendo. Yeah, that's an innuendo, definitely.
Oh god, yeah, he's not fixing my plumbing, don't worry.
Yeah. But you're right, like he's a tradesman.
Yeah. And he was a really different Bond, and I kind of really liked that. But I kind of then hope that maybe the next Bond I just don't think you should be able to compare. I think he should be a totally different person. Yeah. I kind of liked that when Daniel Craig came on the scene, he wasn't famous. I didn't know of him. And I think there's something nice about that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really important that whoever's Bond next needs to be a not obvious choice.
Yeah. Like, because I think there's obviously rumours. At one point, the bookies like took odds off because it was supposedly going to be like Tom Hardy, which I don't think is appropriate. He's just a carbon copy of Daniel Craig, and he's too famous.
Yeah, I love Tom Hardy. I love him to bits. But yeah, you're right. Then there was Idris Elba. I'm over the Idris Elba talk.
He's also a little bit too old, probably. Like, I actually think, I don't think it will be. I think it was because, what was it? Luther had just like been really popular at that point.
Yeah.
And now there's talk of the Bridgerton guy, Regé Jean Page.
No.
And if you've heard him speak in an interview, yes, he's sexy in Bridgerton. He's not sexy in real life.
He's not though, is he? He's too clean cut. That's why I think.
And also, again, he's just had that real like big moment with Bridgerton, and I kind of think you almost want someone where it's like, okay, he was like a supporting role in this, you know, you kind of want them to have spotted potential in somebody where you're like, okay, let's see.
Because whoever plays Bond needs to be Bond for the next 10 years.
And that's going to be that's the most defining role, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Pierce Brosnan's biggest film before Bond was probably Mrs. Doubtfire.
Wow, look at the come up.
But like Mrs. Doubtfire is a great film, like it's a fun film, but like you'd never think twice, like that guy's a stud and is going to be 007.
Yeah. Where do you think the style of James Bond should go to next? Because we talked about the actors. We clearly don't want someone who is too pretty, to be honest.
No. I don't know, it's difficult. I imagine they might revert back to like a more of a Pierce Brosnan-esque, but hopefully with a bit more action. And I'm hoping the style is sort of like cool and suave, but with these modern twists that we've now got with Daniel Craig, that a suit doesn't just have to be like navy or whatever. Like he's rocked some like nice brown tone suits, you know, like he's gone like way more like, I don't know, pushing the boundaries of the fashion more.
I would like to see. I have no idea, because I think the styling of recent years have been quite good. I just don't want them to be too casual. Please don't. We still want the fantasy of like, how can you be a secret agent and be wearing these like suits? Isn't this restrictive to your line of work? I still want it to be like a little bit unattainable.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, I think it should be a fantasy thing. I think there should be not just like one tux moment or something like that, or like still lots of like, you know, they often just suddenly turn up to these weird events because they've got to like track down someone.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you've still got to have these like, what circles are they mixing in, and all these like billionaire inventors. I think that's the world that. Yeah.
And please, let's not do something cheesy like try and harken back to the 60s. I think, you know, I get it, the golden era of the UK or something, but it can be a bit corny, you know. And I think that we have a lot of in the UK, there's a lot of smaller subcultures, and the UK is very regional as well. And I think that we could do more to.
I would not be happy with the Northern Bond, though.
Oh no! No, sorry. He has to kind of sound posh, doesn't he?
Yeah,
like a southerner.
Like and like no dissing to Northerners, like. No. But I just, could you imagine?
But this Bond,
hey, Chuck.
But this Bond was supposed to be from Scotland. He's supposed to be Scottish.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. We can do things like that, and I think that will add complexity to the character and the look and the style of whoever's Bond next. But I have no idea where they're going to take this next.
No, and I actually really hope it's none of the people we suspect.
Yeah.
You know, I hope that they did a great job of like keeping this film locked tight and not getting it pirated out.
You know what? He could be Asian. We have not thought of this.
It could be so Dev many Patel. People. There's, you know what? Actually, there's one guy. Oh, I think he's American. Trying to think. You know what? Who could be quite good? He was in How to Get Away with Murder. He was like, I don't know if you've seen British that guy. Film. He's the British guy. He was like, he was in Harry Potter. Like someone a bit like that. Were like, okay, you watched him in a TV show. He's maybe not, but I think that level.
Though.
I think with that level of fame, and more that someone's in the industry to be an actor. Whereas like
he is currently
he's doing Romeo and Juliet at the Globe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to see that. Actually,
he's an actor's actor, like a proper actor. I think his father was really famous as well.
Really?
Yeah, he is. But I think that could work.
Daniel Radcliffe. Just go from the biggest.
Stop. No.
He goes the biggest like film career with Harry Potter, and he's going to be Bond.
No, I won't watch them. If you want to insult my intelligence and tell me Daniel Radcliffe is sexy,
He's
don't.
not sexy.
Exactly.
But you know what's really sad, guys? I know you've not really seen our faces, but if I were a boy, I'd look like Daniel.
No, you wouldn't, Scarlett. No, if you were a boy, you would look like oh my god. Oh, hold on.
I look like Daniel Radcliffe, man.
100% not. No. You would be Henry Cavill.
Would I?
Yes, 100%. Yes. We might have to put up a picture of you and then Henry. Like, you are definitely not Daniel Radcliffe. Don't ever put yourself down like that again.
Oh man. You know what? And again, like Henry Cavill, he's too famous and he's too much like, you know, he's Superman.
If he hadn't have been Superman, I would have 100%
yeah. Oh, maybe. Okay, so I feel like one of our polls should be who do you want to be Bond? And then what was the other one? It was what words do you hate being mispronounced?
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to talk about James Bond. Do you want a quick update of my no buy?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So this week in my no buying clothes life, my hat turned up. You know, the one I ordered. I said that was my one purchase I could make since declaring that I wouldn't be buying any more clothes for hopefully the next 12 months. So my hat has arrived. It's amazing. It's everything I wanted.
You wanted it to be.
Yeah, okay. It fits my head, which is the main thing. The day it turned up, I went to dinner with a friend of mine who was in London for a couple of days, and Mr. Big wore my hat. I was being nice. I was being generous. I let him wear my hat before me.
That's love, that is.
He dropped it a number of times because it was windy, and I said, "You need to hold on to that hat."
That's the only thing I'm allowed to buy right now.
You know when you're in the underground and the train goes.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It nearly went. It blew off his head and behind him on the platform, and I thought if that had gone under the train. Oh my god! But yeah.
And how would then that have worked with spend if it's replenishing?
Oh, I would have used his card to buy a replacement. Yeah. It wouldn't have come out of my pocket.
No, but still, like it kind of doesn't count, I guess, because it's replacing an object.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I still don't find the need to buy anything right now, to be honest. But I have been on Vestiaire Collective browsing like really expensive bags because now I'm just like looking.
That's what you have to do, right? The way that you're having to like scratch the itch is looking at stuff you can't afford,
exactly,
rather than on Zara.
And there's a part of me, when you try to save money or whatever, there's a part of you is like, because I'm being so good and I'm doing this, I will have the money to buy something expensive later. You start thinking to yourself like, this is just me being like financially responsible.
To then go splurge.
All that money you saved last year? Yeah. Let's just spend it on one purchase.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going all right at the moment. I don't feel the need to buy anything just yet. But what's really going to be tough is as we approach the winter season and the winter sale, the end of year sales.
Well, and just also... just seasons changing, I think, always creates a need for more, right?
Yeah, you start thinking...
want a few things to update your wardrobe. You're like, oh, I'm sick of that stuff. I wore it to death last year.
Or I'm lacking in something. You convince yourself that I actually need this because it's getting cold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is going to be my next hurdle of resisting that temptation.
Nice.
Yeah. But I hear you have a haul that you made in preparation for your holiday. I heard. You told me.
Oh yeah, I've been spending not loads. I've been like buying a few bits just for holiday. One thing hasn't arrived. Well, I missed the delivery, which I'm gutted about, but hopefully I'm telling myself I'm going away in December, so then I can just save it for that. But I think I was thinking about this. Like, holidays are such like a lucrative thing, right? You spend a lot of money to go on holiday. You then like spend money to like, I've just gone and got my nails done.
Mm-mm.
Like you then spend money like on all your skincare to go away, or like travel size versions. Not that I do, I've got loads of miniatures anyway. But like, you know, there's just so much stuff where you're like, oh, I need a few more things. And I bought a few more swimsuits because I didn't need Kylie Swim. I want like stuff where I can be playing in the pool and not worrying about what's slipping out where.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like I've got a, you know what, but I
don't. Yeah.
But yeah, so I bought a few bits for that. But then I felt really weird about it. And I was like, this is for 1 week of my life. And I could have spent that money on stuff that like I'm going to wear for the rest of winter. Or
you spent that money on the holiday, during the holiday.
True. I don't think we'll spend much whilst we're there. But yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? That like we have these summer wardrobes, or holiday, might I say, wardrobes for like what, maybe 2 or 3 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. I know, I agree.
Bit nonsense.
But
so
oh well.
I'm going to try and control it when I get back. But yeah, we'll see.
Do you want to join me on this? No.
I've still got a few things I need to own. Like I need some new trainers. I need some new running trainers.
Mm-hmm.
I need a few more like winter workout gear things.
Okay. Well, I tried. I asked my mum and she was like, yeah, I want to, but after this year. And I was like, okay.
You know what? I'd be willing to start it.
You're definitely a 1st of January type person. New you, new Scarlett.
No, but I'd be willing to do it probably more then. I think I need like a bit of time to get out of my system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or like prepare and just be thing. Like.
I knew I was going to do it, so I didn't stock up, but I did get a period of time where I could mentally prepare for it. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Because there's still certain things where like even last year I wanted to get like a certain pair of like shoes. And I'm a bit like, I think if they're like, I still want them this year, so I should probably get them.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of a thing where I'm like, if I wait till next year, they're probably not going to be anywhere.
Yeah. That's how I felt about my hat. So
yeah.
Anyway, got anything else you want to add this week?
No, I'm sure I've rambled on long enough.
We've been on this call for a while.
I know.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's wrap this up, guys. Thank you again for listening to Style Over Substance. We're going to be having our poll on our Instagram and in our Instagram stories. So remember to vote on those because we read all the responses. And yeah, thanks again for listening and supporting us, and share this episode with your friends if they also like fashion ramblings. And I've been Mim.
I've been Scarlett.
Ciao, Bellas.
Bye-bye.